I got another quick moto vlog for everybody, and it's based on a story that BC Truck told about getting pulled over by some corrupt law enforcement people. And he said that he drove somewhere and the speed limit went from like 50 to 30 in a very, very short distance. Similar thing happened to me back in about 2006, 6 time frame. I was on a business trip, and I lived in northern Indiana, and I had a conference in Chicago, and it's about a 3-hour drive to Chicago from where I was living. And depending on what route I took, it was very it was not complicated, but you had to be very aware of where the turns were. And this was back in the days before GPS really became like a thing, right? A common thing. Yeah, there were Garmin's and stuff, but they were a little expensive. So I had a GPS that a coworker got for our department, and it was just a GPS antenna. It was just a little square thing, and you hooked it up to your laptop, and you had to buy the program. It was like Microsoft Maps or something like that. And so if you bought Microsoft Maps, it came with the antenna, and then you plugged it into your laptop, and you can actually use it as an active GPS. So I used that to go to my conference in Chicago. It didn't talk to you then either. It was just a map. So I had it in my passenger seat and just kind of glanced over every once in a while, make sure I was on the right road. So it wasn't like a live GPS that people have on their dash nowadays. It was more of a guide. So I was using it to go back home from Chicago, and I missed my turn. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I was on my way home, and I was going down a north-south highway, and you had to take a little back road to get to the east-west highway. And I noticed when I was driving that I missed my exit, and so I got off to try to maybe double back to catch my exit. So I got off the highway and took one of the back roads, hoping to find a way to get to the highway. And I noticed that the back road speed limit signs were like 50 miles an hour, right? 50, and like every once in a while you see 45, and go back up to 50. Well, right before I stopped, I noticed that, like, if you look at that T intersection sign there, right? So that would be like 50 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden, right about here, it was 35 miles an hour. So luckily, I looked up and I saw the 35 miles an hour speed limit sign as I was passing the 50 mile an hour speed limit sign, and I slowed down, and then there was like an intersection. So then I stopped at the intersection, and again, this was like 11:30 at night, and there was nobody on the road. There were no houses or nothing. It was just like an intersection like this, except it was in a back road. So I stopped and said, well, nobody's here, I don't need to pull over or anything. I'm just gonna pick up my laptop and look and see where I'm at and see what the best way to get back to the highway was. So I'm sitting in my car, I put it in park, I got the laptop in my lap, I'm looking, and I heard a whoop. I'm like, what? What was that? It was a siren chirp. So I look up, and I look in my rearview mirror and I see the lights from a police car. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's just seeing if I was you know, broke down or something. So he comes up to my window and he goes, are you okay? I was like, oh yeah, I'm just lost. And I showed him the laptop in my lap with the map. I was like, I missed my turn. I'm trying to get to this highway here, so I'm just looking on the GPS to see what the best road is to get there. He goes, you know you were speeding, right? I'm like, no, I saw the 35-mile-an-hour sign and I slowed down as soon as I could. And he said, well, I didn't have my radar on, but I could tell you were going faster than 35 miles an hour. It's like, well, I saw it right when I was passing the 50-mile-an-hour sign, and there's only like 100 feet between the two signs, so you know, I did the best I could to slow down to 35 miles an hour. And he goes, well, let me get your license and insurance. I was like, okay. So I gave him my driver's license, reached in the glove box, gave him my insurance and registration and all that. And so he goes back to his car, does his thing, comes back. He goes, here you go, here's your, you know, here's your information. He said, you know, just slow it down. And it's like, well, do you know the best way to get back to the highway? And say, well, there's really no best way to get back. It's like, just go down this road for about 10 more miles, and then you'll see signs that direct you to the east-west highway. He said, all right, have a good night. And he got back in his car and he left. So I guess he could have given me a ticket. You know, I was, I think I had crossed it. I might have still been in Illinois. I can't remember where the turn was. I remember I'll put this, you know, my post-production picture here to show you where it was. I remember getting lost. But yeah, he could have given me a ticket since if I was in Illinois, I would have been out of state, so it would have been a money maker for him, because chances of me fighting the ticket are going to be relatively low. But yeah, you know, he knew he deduced I was honest and wasn't, you know, wasn't being a jerk, and so he gave me a pass, and it didn't even give me a warning per se. He just, yeah, I just slowed down, you know, watch out for the speed limit signs. So he was actually pretty cool. And so that's my vlog on how back country roads are potential money makers for the local police department. So watch out, be careful when you're riding on the back roads to pay attention to the speed limit signs. Even if you got a GPS that tells you the speed limit is, the signs may be purposely different than what the GPS says. All right, take care, see you later.